Let's draw sky. The first rule of the sky is that it needs to be drawn quickly. The more it is drawn quicker, it is better. When I first started, I used to overwork the sky. That means I was more concerned with the clouds to be illustrated perfectly. Then I found out, even though my landscape was good, but it wasn't looking professional. So here you can see I drew quickly how it's supposed to be, and with your brush stroke, no matter how it is, just quickly draw your brush stroke, have some soft and hard edges, your clouds and sky will be perfect, exactly like this. This may not look like proper illustrated cloud to you, but when it is a part of a landscape, it will work out. Now let's take a look at this. It's just a boat in a seashore. Let's quickly draw the sea water and sand first. I'm not worrying about this seascape at all. We'll show you how this sky works out with the scenario. Let's wet this sky first. Then with ultramarine blue, just draw a stroke horizontally. Slowly with the water, pull it down and it will create a gradated wash. Do some more bits of stroke with the blues and stuff to show the skies without the clouds, which I called holes in the sky. Do some random stroke with the blues, then use yellow ochre to do some brush marks like this. Soften the edges with the fresh water and it will look like the density of a cloud. Then you can use the same brush to draw some random mark to suggest the clouds. You can use tissues to lift some colors to give it a shape of a cloud. It's called lifting method. Now what I'm doing, I'm just finishing up the painting here. Is not that important, but the reason I'm doing this painting just to show you the clouds or skies, they can tell a proper stories when you have fulfilled or when you have created the whole landscape with that one. Cloud itself perhaps doesn't make the story. So I'll just quickly draw this small fishing boat in here, and you can see that clouds really goes well with these ones. What I'm doing now is called calligraphic techniques, just doing some dry brushworks and so on, just to finish it off. You can use your fingernail to scratch the paint off. It's called scratching method. It works well to draw the strings and ropes of the boats. Okay, now let's take our step a little bit back. Like draw a cloud, which looks like cloud, not the impressionistic style, which looks like some realistic kind of cloud, something like this, right? And we have some darker shades probably down there. Let's see how we can handle this kind of cloud. First step is draw the hard edge. Here the hard edge would be there. I will take ultramarine blue and carefully I will draw the edges of the cloud, only to make sure my paper is dry. Then fill up the sky with the ultramarine blue or any other blue you have. Second step is to draw soft edges. All you'll need to do, get some fresh water and just brush on the paper with the fresh water, and that's all. And third step would be creating volumes. Just take some yellow ochre and just create volume of the cloud. Step 4 is adding values. Just drop some dark values inside the cloud to define lighter and darker part of the cloud. Step 5 is soften up the hard edges. You take a brush with fresh water and smudges those hard edges where you see inside the cloud, or wherever you see is necessary. It's just up to you. You can drop some blue pigment to make the hole inside the clouds to make it a little bit like more realistic. And this is your cloud sky with a little bit of realistic looking cloud. Now that was the one single or small little cloud. Now let's draw something bigger, like larger, sort of in a landscape, but I'll draw a little bit in detail. I'll grab some ultramarine blue. With that one I make some light wash. Make sure you do the light wash very down at the bottom. When you see the sky, the closer to you would be darker than your sky in the horizon. Remember that thing. So let's put some darker value on the top, which is closer to me, and soften up some edges which is on the horizon. And I'll use my brush to lift some color off and soften up the edges in there. I'll use fresh water for that, and when it's done I'll probably use some darker values in there and put those on the top which is nearer to me. And the next step would be adding some values with a cloud. I'll use yellow ochre. Usually that's the color I use that. Let's make some bit more darker which is nearer to me. And while I do that, I'll need to make sure I make the clouds which is closer to me is larger cloud, and which is farther and near the horizon, small little tiny values in there so that it looks like the clouds are smaller on the horizon. And that's pretty much all. I'll let it dry. So now I will just draw the horizon line and just add some landscape in there so that it just looks a little bit pretty and it makes sense. The whole thing makes sense. Just add some yellow or green in there, and that's pretty much all. Just let it dry, lift some colors here and there, and that's it. You can see the clouds which is not 100% impressions, but which has got a little bit of similarities with the real cloud, with how you see that. And what we'll do now, after this, I will draw the usual impressionistic style landscape with the cloud, and I will show you how those make sense. This is a sketch I have done, just a little bit of seascape, some boats there in a sea, with some warm color. I'm not using yellow ochre, I'm just using a little bit of warm red or something like that. With a warm color, I will just draw the random mark, and with the blues I will just make the holes inside the sky, as you can see that. And as I said, clouds needs to be drawn very quickly. Don't put too much information in there unless your story is about the cloud. So try to be as quick as possible, just some brush marks in there, and believe me, if your highlight is not the sky, your landscape will stand out and they will work out. Your sky will complement your landscape. But if you put more stress on the sky, but it's not the painting of the sky, then they will contradict with your landscape. So that's the main thing you need to know. So let's make it dry, and what I will do, I'll just make some wave marks in here and there. I'm just quickly drawing this, painting this, finishing up this landscape just to make sure the sky is complementing my landscape, or seascape as you say. The horizon is a bit up in there. I will just add some darker values, just a suggestion that there's something far there, like trees and houses and probably the mountains and hills, something like that. That's not the important. The background needs to be as background, because the background, they're not important. So when it's dry, I will use dry brush technique to draw the boats, and probably I will use some water to wash down those pigments to make it a bit of lighter value. On the top of the boat, where the edges are, I will use darker values, and where it touches the water, I will use darker value as well. And in the middle, the volume of the boat, I will just quickly wash some lighter color in there. Doesn't matter what color is that, because as long as the shape is correct. Remember, when you draw anything, try to draw the shape, not the actual object. If you try to draw the boat nice and tidy, it will not be a part of the landscape. It will be individual object, and it will not look that good. That will look like a bit of amateurish. That's the thing you need to remember when you do the landscape. So let's draw another boat in here. As you can see, I'm just quickly brushing around, just quickly finishing it up with some little bit of extra details in there, with the mast and all of the stuff, there's wires and all things, the reflections and things. And make it a bit of darker values so that it looks like the things are separated from the background. Let's make the foreground bit more darker, and you can always add more water to soften the edges up in there. And that's pretty much it. And you can see the sky color is a warm color. That's why I put the water as a bit of warmish blue, and that's why the sky and the water, they're complementing each other. Now let's do completely different, completely expressionistic way of drawing sky and cloud. I will draw like sunset scenery. I will not draw any sketches in there. Just quickly make it dry, do the wash and then make it dry, and use some more cadmium reddish color or any other warm red color. Just random mark in there, making it looks like a cloud. I will add some darker values inside there, and go along with the warm red values in there. Now what I will do after finishing this one, I will add splatter of fresh waters and to just define some textures on this landscape, so it make it more expressionistic way. And then I will add one single line in the middle to define the horizon, so that it will look like the horizon and the shadow of the horizon in the water, something like that. When it's dry, I will just add the white gouache, just to give an impression of a village in the horizon. And that's the cloud drawn, painted in an expressive way. If you like this video, consider subscribing, or if you have any questions, leave comments in the comment section below. Thank you. Thanks for watching.